Hey there, it's Jenny, and I am looking forward to sharing with you my daily diary. I am using a Midori Hibino. I'll link it up in the comments below. It is a 2 page per day A6 planner, I guess, and I absolutely love it. Now, I am now only using 1 page per day. I started by using 2 pages, but I quickly realized that that was too ambitious. I like to use the notebook that I just showed you really quickly on screen, and that's where I jot down the things for the day as they're happening so that I can make sure that I'm able to go backwards if needed. So, for example, say I don't fill out this diary for 3 or 4 days, it's cool. I've got my notebook full of information. So before I flip through all of the pages of January, we're going to fill out a page or two together, just because I thought that that might be fun for you to see me add lettering and doodling to these pages. So I started the book, I really wanted it to be kind of junk journaling. Lots of layering, lots of bits and pieces and all that kind of stuff. I quickly realized that I could not keep up with that, that there was no way I was going to be able to do a daily journal of that magnitude and my other projects. So I decided that perhaps with some pens and some occasional stamps and washi tape that I could make this daily thing work when I used just 1 page per day. And I'm here to say that it's working pretty well, and I'm actually having a really, really good time with it. I am absolutely loving the doodling part. Like, I didn't realize I would like it so much. I'm really loving pulling out different color of pens and things like that. And it feels fun, like no pressure. Like I don't care what the end result looks like because it's really genuinely just meant to be a record of the things that happened that day and the things that I did. So I don't feel this overwhelming pressure for this to look super pretty or look a certain way or anything like that. I'm just putting the things that happened, the things I did, that kind of stuff, and then adding stuff. Now, right there, that's exactly how I start the doodling. I legitimately Google, in this case, salad doodle. I find a picture and then I draw it. That's what I do. And so far, it's really working out for me. And then I assume that in the end, you mostly wouldn't even be able to tell what the original doodle I chose was because mine looks different, obviously. But it just gives me a really good guideline of how to draw things. I think that the idea for a lot of people, or at least for me, was that I need to 100% reinvent the wheel every single time, and that's absolutely not true. I can get some ideas from other sources and then do my best, especially because I am a beginner. I am definitely a beginner with doodling. I may not be with lettering, I may not be with markers and things like that, but I absolutely am with doodling. So I don't need to be so hard on myself and I can just have a good old time. So that's what you're seeing here is me really loving the process, like being fully joyful at writing down mundane activities that like it was cloudy outside. I ate salad for dinner. We watched a couple of different shows and having joy at recording these things. And I could not have predicted that that's the way that this would go, but that's how it's happening for me in this format. I can't say the same would be true if I was doing this a different way. I also am really, really loving all these washi tapes that I have in my collection, and I wasn't sure how I was going to use them. I mean, I never really gave it much thought, if we're being honest, but I love now that I'm looking, oh, I'm going to do a purple page. I'm going to look for my purple washi tapes and see what will fit and what will work. And that's turning out to be super cool. I'm also not sticking to a specific type of lettering. I'm just kind of throwing all of them at the wall. If I see somebody else do something cool or I see something in a project, I'm giving it a go, seeing how it works out. I'm not sticking too closely to it in terms of I'm not like zooming in on somebody's project. I'm just sort of filing them away mentally as I go, if that makes sense. Because the goal is to really genuinely be creative And like I said, in the cases of the doodles, it's a little bit different because I'm a beginner and I don't even know how to draw, like in any capacity. But lettering, yeah, I can figure that out if it's, just something I have stuck in my mind. Now, speaking of colors, I know I do a lot of projects in rainbow and I really can't help that, but I also decided that one of the easier ways to do this was just to stick to one color a day, doing it in a format or in an order that works. So I'm doing rainbow order just because, I mean, A, I do love that, but B, honestly, it's a whole lot easier without having to like come up with something new every single time. So that's kind of where we're at, especially because this is my first time ever doing something like this before. And so I know that that part of it is hard enough. Why not make it easier on myself and do something that I'm already very familiar with while I'm working on something that is brand new? Another part that I'm really enjoying is that, like, so for example, you can see I'm outlining some brush lettering. I really enjoy brush lettering things, but in my other projects, you can only add maybe like a word a day or something like that. You can't go too crazy, otherwise it's just like all that you do, and then I would get tired of it, right? And so this is fun because each day is a whole new palette. And so I can brush letter a phrase every single day if I feel like it. And I probably will if we're being honest. And I'm not looking at the ones from the days before. I'm only looking at today's because each day is a new one. And that's actually kind of one of the fun things about using this 2 page per day and using only one page is that, yeah, I'm just only looking at today. It's really kind of a good metaphor, right? Like looking at your own paper, looking at this specific paper. So anyway, I really like this planner. It's why I purchased it, but when I bought it, I wasn't 100% sure how I was going to use it. What I was kind of thinking was that I might make it my main planner, and one page would be for work, one page would be for personal stuff. But I quickly realized that the way that the format of this is was that that probably wasn't going to work for me. Although, if we're being honest, I didn't try. I mean, I'm just gonna full disclosure, right? But I also decided very quickly that I wanted to use this daily diary. So that's also why I didn't try because I wanted to use it for something else. So that is where we're at with that. Now, in the past, I have recorded the books that I start and finish in my regular day-to-day planner, but it was getting to be kind of a disaster in terms of just being really messy, and I really wanted to simplify things. So I'm keeping track of that here in my daily diary instead, and I'm really enjoying that because I'm getting to be a little bit more creative with it. And when I say that, I mean like okay, so I was able to brush letter the title of the one. And then this other one, I tried some different things around the outside to make it stand out. That type of thing, if that makes sense. So I realized quickly that this first Tombow dual brush marker that I used was too light. So I pulled out a darker one and I'm just writing over top of that. That's what you're seeing me do here. And no harm, no foul, right? Like I don't know what I don't know. So I didn't realize that that was going to be too pale on this particular paper because yes, you can see that I have swatches over there on the left-hand side, but that's a different type of paper, right? So I don't know how that's going to look. So doodling the raindrops, for example, that's like where the real genuine fun in this layout is, like just drawing, right? Like if you were a kid who liked to draw, even if you weren't very good at it, you'll get what I mean, like, think back to the joy of just drawing brought you. Again, even if you weren't very good at it. I'm not very good at doodling. I'm not doing some, like, great job, but I'm having a really good time, and I'm loving the end result, like, how it all comes together. Like, maybe it's not perfect, but that's what my day looked like, and then I was creative, and then it's got, like, a color assigned to it. It really turns out perfectly. I am drying that paint pen, by the way, because I obviously got way too much paint on that page with my heat tool. And I'm telling you, if you don't have a heat tool and you work on any of these projects that I show you my heat tool, you probably need one. Like, honestly, it makes things so much easier and they're fairly inexpensive. I'll link mine up below. I'm not trying to sell you a heat tool or anything like that. It's just that I think that it really can be awesome in terms of drying inks onto Bowie River paper, drying fountain pen ink when it's taking a minute to dry, that type of thing. Now, all of these skinny washi tapes, they've been sitting in my drawer for like 5 years and getting very little love. And so I'm so excited about how I'm getting so much more use out of them in this particular project. It's fantastic. So now after I write Sunday here, let's go ahead and flip through the month of January. All right, so that's the cover of my Hibino. There's also a brown one as well, but I liked this aqua-ish color one. It has, monthly pages at the beginning, and then it just goes into 2 pages per day. And you can see those were the 2 pages that I started with, and I really wanted it to work, and it just was going to be too much for me. But I still like the idea of it. If I didn't have like 75 other projects, I could probably keep up with it. Anywho, if you have questions about my daily diary, please let me know below. I'd be more than happy to help you. I will try to link most of the things that I used also down below. But this project is so fun and I'm having such a great time with it. I highly recommend just getting out there in whatever project with a pen and enjoying yourself and allowing yourself to be a beginner because I'm really having a great time with that. Thank you so much for watching and make it a great day.